Jesse Allen here, and today we are talking with Rodney Connor with Indigo Ag. And Rodney, how are you today?
Hey, great, Jesse. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I appreciate you joining us here, Rodney, and I'm really interested to learn more about this. I know Indigo Ag, you guys have just announced direct to buyer contracts on your grain marketplace, and I think this is very interesting. I'm excited to learn more. But for starters, why don't we just talk a little bit about Indigo and tell us a little bit about your marketplace and how this all works, Rodney?
Yeah, so we started Indigo's marketplace in 2018. It was around December 2018. What we found was that the market needed a place for farmers to more efficiently be able to have price discovery, find reasonable prices in their area, and make that transaction online. We spent the bulk of 2020 really building out that farmer experience. So our farmer experience inside a marketplace is robust. I couldn't be more proud of it, honestly. In as 2021, we get into 2021, we're focused more on the buyer side of the equation. So as you know, on a marketplace, you got to have buyers and sellers. So we're working closely in 2021 to make sure that buyer experience meets the needs of the industry as well.
Well, and you look at the marketplace, and I know it's something that farmers can access and buyers can access on a computer, on a smartphone. Really, it's up there with today's technology, obviously, and that's I think key because a lot of farmers, buyers, we're always on the go, we're always on the farm, we're always working, so it's important to have that accessibility available with the marketplace.
That's right. And last week we just released our Android version of Marketplace, which that was the last threshold. That got the last one. So we were first on the computer, went to iOS, which is obviously popular in the United States, and frankly, where most of the farmers spend their time on that phone while they're doing other work. And excited to release Android last week that gets us everywhere.
hmm Well, let's talk a little bit about direct to buyer contracts here on the marketplace, and maybe just to start, give us a rundown of what this means for farmers and for grain buyers. Why don't you just kind of go through what all this entails?
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. We've been working on this for a long time. So what we've learned inside a marketplace in the last year and a half is farmers like doing business with the people they do business with, right? In a lot of cases, these relationships are 20, 30, 40 years old if the buyer's been around that long. And they want to maintain those relationships. At the same time, they're looking for a tech solution that makes that transaction process easier. So even the guys that want to transact with the same folks day in and day out, which is an awful lot of them, Jesse, because of those relationships, they still call around a little bit to make sure they're being treated fairly. It's about being treated fairly. The grain marketplace is not all about price, but price definitely plays a role, and we see guys shopping around a little bit to make sure they're being treated fairly by the folks they're already working with. What we unleashed just a few weeks ago was the ability for the farmer to be able to make a transaction directly with a buyer where that contract integrity remains. So if I'm used to dealing with some buyer, that buyer is able to purchase that contract through Indigo's marketplace. And at that point today, Indigo just kind of steps out of the equation. So it's on the buyer and the farmer to manage the scale tickets and manage the settlements related to that. And we're hearing today with technology the way it is, that's what the industry wants. And frankly, I agree. What we're offering to the buyer here is the ability to offer a really compelling, robust software product that we've spent 18 months developing to really give a good experience to the farmer. And we're going to give that to the buyer without them having to worry about how to keep that up to date or constantly refresh the technology inside of that platform. We're going to turn it over, put the power of the transaction actually in their hands, but let them be a grain company, not a software company. I hear it loud and clear from buyers every day. They don't want to be software companies.
hmm Essentially, Indigo is basically you're giving the buyers and the farmers the tools and the platform for them to work together and kind of bring all of this and bring grain marketing and trading, a little bit more into the new century, into 2021, basically.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's interesting. We farm up here in northern Illinois, and I spend some time in combines and tractors. They're some of the most technologically advanced situations you've ever been in, right? Like, I don't think the average person in the United States understands how much tech is in the cab of a combine as that guy's combining grain. It is not what people are used to seeing, in cartoons or whatever that is. But that has not translated over to the grain transaction itself. Um, Most of that is done with pen and paper, double, triple entry to make sure that hedge gets off right, the scale ticket gets off right. I spent 16 years sitting across the table from farmers buying grain from them. I love the relationship part. I love talking to farmers and helping them manage their risk and doing all those things. I got paid to make transactions, and that was the most painful part of my job. It was hard, and it left opportunities for mistakes and stuff like that. What we're trying to do here today is put technology in the players' hands that have a place in this business to make their transaction piece really easy, make that really easy from front to back for both parties, and then they can focus more time on you know having relationships, going fishing, thinking about markets, whatever it is they want to do, not entering stuff into a back end system.
Well, and it's very exciting stuff, and I think a lot of farmers are going to be very interested in using this, and obviously grain buyers interested in this as well, and keeping those relationships open. And we think about just where the markets are at today with cash bases, everything. I mean, everything is changing so constantly. So having technology like this is really important to have, because you could be making a decision an hour from now that you weren't thinking about making right now, and it's just nice to have technology in our hands like this, Rodney.
And that's really what it does. It takes all that information. We live in a world today where a tweet from a specific person can really change what happens in the cash grain business all across America. And it just takes too much time for farmers and buyers to react to those changing market conditions, especially something as small as a tweet. Anybody inside a marketplace is going to see the effects of that tweet live in real time inside a marketplace and be able to react to that. Those are the kinds of things I'm really excited about.
Well, Rodney, very exciting stuff. If farmers, grain buyers listening in want to learn more about the marketplace and learn more about what Indigo Ag is doing, how can they do that?
Yeah, you're going to go to indigoag.com/marketplace. You can go there, or you can find us if you're a farmer. You can find us on the iOS or Android stores to download the app and start shopping for bids. Again, I can't say enough about how great this does. This should be the place the farmer goes to check and see what the price of grain is. And it's a way for the buyer to show up to an additional channel of growers that want to interact with the grain business in a slightly different way.
indigoag.com/marketplace, or you can download the app on the iOS or Android store on your mobile device. Rodney Connor with Indigo Ag. I appreciate you joining us here today, and thanks for telling us more about Indigo's marketplace.
Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for having me.